I'm merely attempting to set the stage for where we are at this moment. High-frequency traders and algorithms are taking over the tape. Today, NVIDIA is the only place to look. The market is retreating. NVIDIA is lower as a result of the enormous volume in zero-dated options. All right, so if your main issue about the meta-cap portion of the market was its high valuation a month ago, then NVIDIA's future PE was 41 times, but it is currently 32.5. Meta was at 24.5 times a month ago. Now it is at 21.5. Today, Apple is 29 years old. Amazon is now 31 years old. The Alphabet used to be 23.5, but now it is 19.5. Microsoft is now 30 years old. I suppose what I'm trying to say is that these stocks have significantly declined. If the valuations were previously irrational, are they now more reasonable? Barclays upgraded their technology today, going overweight after a significant 16% decline since July. Rob Sin announced yesterday that he has finally, yes, for the first time, purchased NVIDIA due to the stock's steep decline. What should I do with this value adjustment, as we should appropriately refer to it? I believe Rob, in my opinion, is a prime example in this regard. I believe Rob Sin, who is buying, said, "Look, of course it can go lower from here, but if you look past the next month, which is exactly what I was saying just a moment ago, and you look to the end of the year, these valuations and these share prices are likely to be higher, and there's a very simple reason why. Multiples cannot be viewed in a vacuum. The multiples must be compared to the growth rate of earnings per share. Carrie, you nod your head, and I perceive you as a growth investor. With this, you know precisely where I'm headed. The price-to-earnings to growth ratio, or PEG ratio, is important. If you consider NVIDIA to be maybe the most talked about stock in terms of, is it overvalued? Its profits per share are increasing in the mid-30s, its PEG ratio is less than 1, and it has a 32-fold multiple in the future. That's a very alluring valuation for anyone familiar with PEG ratios. Although I am aware that it has the potential to drop, I do believe that it will reach a new all-time high before the year ends. But are there any indications that things are moving too far in the opposite direction? We can display the Micron chart, for instance, when I look at Micron today. They intend to carry on with their buyback. Are they acting in this way because the stock has dropped by almost 30% in the past month? Does it look better now? Was it overcorrected? You should decide that, not me, but it still begs the question. Well, there's been a lot of disruption, remarked Adam Parker, who was with me yesterday on Closing Bell and is, incidentally, a former chip analyst at Bernstein before moving on to other employment on the street. I want you to hear what he had to say about whether the semiconductor industry is now appealing. Over the past 25 years, I examined the 10 most recent downturns of 10% or more. Okay, what's happened this previous cycle since July 16th? I asked myself after examining which equities and industries often decline. The semis and semi-cap equipment are down more than they typically would be in relation to everything else, and I sorted by the largest discrepancy. All right, I'll go to you, Joe. Are they attractive purchases? Once more, Adam is generally right. I examine the names of the semi-equipment. Look at the equipment names: K-Corp, Lam Research, and Applied Materials. They have all worked off significant excessive, I would say, positioning and extreme bullishness, but they also have strong fundamentals. If we are studying valuation and trying to find lower valuation semis, what else do they have? You brought up the fact that they have buyback authorizations, and we're about to reopen that buyback window. I'm not claiming that it will be the ultimate catalyst or cause a major increase in value, but it does provide some support in certain situations for stocks that you find interesting. This is crucial, so let me add a few more words right away. Earlier, I discussed earnings per share, growth rate, and the PEG ratio. What happens if the growth rate is incorrect? Looking at the capital expenditure plans of companies like Google and Meta gives you a lot of reassurance that the growth rates are correct, in my opinion. They also require processors to expand their AI efforts, whether it's NVIDIA chips or Micron's high-bandwidth memory. The first 50 customers receive 50% off anything in our store for a short period of time. Don't pass this up. This deal won't be around for long. Hurry immediately to save a ton of money. Be among the first 50, so act quickly. Use the link below to shop right now. They have enough cash flow to buy chips. They can do it because they have the money. They're not raising money or doing anything that will be impacted by market fluctuations. They have years ahead of them. What about the idea that chips overcorrected, though? Yes, I believe that one way we have been looking at it is that if you look at the charts of several of these, ASML and Broadcom, for instance, both of them are currently sitting on a significant moving average, the 100-day for Broadcom and the 200-day for ASML. Micron continues to descend in a straight line. You can't tell where it will hold, but if you keep an eye on these stocks over the next few days and take a little nibble if you don't already own any, and you see established levels of support, you can purchase more. It is also true, in my opinion, that when you add up the capital expenditures that you assume the major corporations, such as Google, Apple, and Amazon, are spending on chips, you get $200 billion easily across all of the big cap names. This money must go to someone, and that someone is the chip makers, primarily NVIDIA, but not only NVIDIA, and then the equipment makers. So you're still optimistic about the market as a whole following a week in which we received guidance from ARM, Western Dig, Intel, and Microchip. No, I'm confident in businesses that actually have, or supporting NVIDIA or moving to the GPU. Thus, the range of bullishness is more limited. You see, during the Amazon conference call, they indicated that NVIDIA is sold out, demonstrating their complete awareness that they must invest in AI. They've been sold out for a while. They are most likely sold out through 2025. Indeed, the expenditure plans that we have heard and confirmed by companies such as Microsoft, Meta, Alphabet, and Amazon have not deterred anyone from believing that NVIDIA will continue to be the primary benefit. However, the market is currently undergoing a significant rotation. In the end, consumers are worried about whether the Fed is falling behind, but none of it seems to address the main issue, which is that NVIDIA may be sold out for some time to come. Indeed, if you pay attention to Amazon, they must undoubtedly create their own. But that is a defensive tactic because they are unable to get enough. They design and build their own chips. Here you see Aton. Yes, this is how I view Amazon. Given how much the stock is down today, I believe it's crucial. I would purchase it. Amazon must purchase a large number of aircraft because they are aware of the high volume of business. They must erect hangars. Now, you don't have passengers in the planes when you purchase a large number of them. You have to wager that they're correct after they spend a lot of money purchasing the planes first. You could want to employ a different analysis, but I'm willing to wager that chassis is correct. They are purchasing a stratum of locations, and you cannot just learn like a bear or a violin. You must acquire knowledge. Learning it is a little more difficult. Teaching inferential reasoning is a little more difficult. I'm merely attempting to come up with an analogy to help folks see that it takes time. The fact that they are unable to just flip a switch is upsetting people. Are you kidding? Is what people think when they bring up the Olympics. I mean, the nation is stuck in the year 2012. They're watching the Olympics, so they're not purchasing as much, but they are still purchasing things because of the Olympics. Not me, but them. Yes, I am aware that was strange. We heard yesterday that the DOJ had contacted NVIDIA's competitors who had been complaining that, well, it's slow, but they never really said it was going to ship in volume. Jeff also mentioned today that customers are phoning in to inquire about possible delays in Blacko. Jensen never stated that it would ship in large quantities at this time. Thus, those who believe it would ship and purchase them should return and speak with him. Never? Correct. The question of whether there will be a return on invested capital remains. By the way, Jesse stated the same thing, and the hyperscalers all gave us answers. How about Zuckerberg, really? Do you recall? Indeed, he is discussing generative artificial intelligence. According to you, Jesse, it will grow rapidly and will mostly be developed on the cloud from the beginning, which, as you are aware, gives those companies the chance to keep expanding. The first 50 customers receive 50% off anything in our store for a short period of time. Don't pass this up. This deal won't be around for long. Hurry immediately to save a ton of money. Be among the first 50, so act quickly. Use the link below to shop right now.